should be live now.
Okay.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Love Speaks Love. Feels very strange doing Love Speaks Love from my little new snug here. I'm just going to double check that we are live on Facebook. Just bear with us a moment.
Yes, we are. I can see us.
I deleted Facebook from my phone the other day. I'm just gonna connect to App Store and put it back on. There we go. All right, I shall sort that out in a minute. Headphones are feeling a bit weird. I haven't done this for 2 weeks. I know we went live last
Wow.
week, but yeah, I've had a little break. Um, okay, so while we're waiting for people to arrive, and thank you anybody who's here already. I can't see you yet, but I will soon. Um, so for those that don't know, Love Speaks Love is a platform for people to share experiences, wisdom, and some ceremony. And we've been going for just over a year, 67 episodes in that time. And my beautiful guest today is my dear sister, my dear friend, Zahara Celestial. Welcome, sweetheart.
Oh, hello. Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
How's it going?
um, it's been a bit challenging. I was sharing before, but today, it's sort of the energy within me lifted, and I feel externally is lifted. Um, and I had a. But before we get into that, shall we do your
Mm,
open your heart whatnot and
yes.
because I had an idea that I wanted to kind of go into sort of more of a sort of, for want of a better word, channeling space.
Mm.
Um,
Do you want to go straight into that after I finish?
yeah.
Awesome.
Um, there, and I think within that there will be something I will want to share because I literally had like an experience with things with people something, and I like what and I so it's meant to be, the meaning will come out through that.
Oh, all right. Um, yeah, I'll share that once you start. I'll start sharing it to other places. All right. So I invite all of us to bring our awareness to our heart space in the center of our chest, and let's take a few long and slow deep breaths, breathing in love, breathing that love into every cell of your body, and breathing out anything you wish to let go of, anything your body is ready to release. And connecting our hearts together, all of us now together in this now moment, watching the live. And anybody who watches in the future now moment, watching the replay or on YouTube. And let us connect our hearts, expanding our awareness, our heart awareness to the heart of Gaia, connecting with the New Earth templates and connecting with the crystalline matrix of energy. And let us just, while we're connected to Gaia's heart, call into our bodies if you feel to, because Gaia holds the energy of everything on the planet. So we can call that energy into our bodies. So anything, any nutrients, any electrolytes or elements or proteins, enzymes, anything at all that would be useful for our bodies right now. and connecting our hearts to the heart of the sun, and connecting our hearts to Source Creator, and feeling ourselves in this unified field of love. One heart, one love. And passing over to you, Zahara.
Oh, thank you. How are you? I didn't. Are you doing okay? Yeah.
I am,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
I've been in quite a strong hibernatory space for the last, I don't know, more than 2 weeks. It kind of started in the lead up to the solstice. But I feel really good.
Cool.
Yeah, and as I shared with you, I feel like I've really shed a lot of stuff. I've really yeah, I might talk about that later, but
Okay.
I'll pass back to you. I'm quite intrigued as
Okay.
to
Okay.
what's
What's
gonna
gonna
come
occur?
through.
Nork nark tiki et oshkumur eti. So as I was walking through, I had a beautiful walk with Hampstead Heath. Um, so clear, energies and the sun. Nak iesi tur kumanakot ianark iesik ianarukush kieme a koesi. And as I was coming out of the heath, I was thinking about our workshop that we're going to be doing, and the golden child and the sun and the golden rays of the sun and the golden discs. I hadn't thought of that. I wasn't thinking about then, but that's coming. That came in at the end of last year. These big discs that were like coming in to land. Big yeah, golden discs resonances. Um, so that was all. That's but what came through was droplets of 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 the sun, like and I'm like, well, that's you get droplets of water, and I'm like, what's that? So like nectar, I suppose you like get honey, but they said droplets of the sun, different. I just got that. Nak iamatur qui tushke iamarukui. That the sun is always giving so much, and our understanding of the sun comes from our perception very often through the 3D. So there was something that's coming through of the resonance of the sun that is within the higher dimensions, and we don't always obviously get what that could be. So I'm walking out of the heath. Um, um, I wasn't kind of in doing any particular meditations, whatever, to open up or anything, but I'd been in the resonance of nature and relaxed, and there wasn't a lot of people up there, which was nice. And so doing very a walk back, navigating traffic, crossing roads, being with my little gem. And then, and this has happened before, so this is interesting. So I get to so there's not a lot of people, so I get to the crossroads, and it's more than a crossroads. There's how many roads? One, two, three, four, five intersecting right near me. And this guy comes up looking really business-like, as in suit, little funny shoes that these men are sometimes wearing, like with pointed toes, and just very kind of like he's gone to the office with a book. And I couldn't, and I was just instantly drawn to look at him. And he had this book with sacred geometry on it, and I was trying to look at the book, but the it was a circle with so many lines, like upteen, and it had on the top of the edge of the book had an om symbol, and because a few weeks, oh no, getting loud noise. So a few weeks, no, probably a couple months ago, I was drawing a starseed image, soul portrait, and a man came up behind me, and again, it didn't. It what he was carrying on his back was a bag with a sphinx image on it. I instantly knew that's got to go on in the portrait, which it did at the bottom left. But again, it didn't kind of match the exterior image of the person carrying whatever. Just did not. You would not think what that guy. He's come out of the council estate. Doesn't make. But then it's like more people are waking up. Obviously, not here, secure. But and I was so drawn to all those lines. Like there's what comes up for me, probably you're getting something, is the amount of energy that's coming in, like critical mass, and really potent, like really coming in to the point, and everything converging, because it was, you couldn't have fitted in, well, you could have maybe more lines into that. I almost thought asking him what is that book, and I thought I don't need to know because it's that meeting. So I know those. It's connected, and we don't. I don't need to now find a rational answer to all that. That will just be in the my energetic perception to just percolate and simmer and alchemize, and but even just saying back then that when I said we perceive the sun through our lens of where we are, that was enough for me to feel that I had a jolt that moved me into, oh my shit, yeah. I mean, I've had the experience, I think it was 2 years ago, of the sun being like a portal. Again, I was just walking down the road, a London street, portal, it's a realm, beings. I'm like, oh my god. And then I kind of came back down to being in this more, I don't know, 3D, 4D resonance. But a reminder of there's so much more that we don't perceive, because we get like, oh, anyway, that's that's my little experience. But like, I get an image of, and I think it's in alchemy. I don't know. It feels I mean, see an image of the lion eating the sun. I'm going to have to look up. I've got a book on alchemy. It's just got images, but that's what's just given about us, like taking in that droplet of sun. Yeah. So
And what
that's.
does the lion mean for you?
I feel this, the sign Leo is very significant. I think we're getting the moon is coming into Leo. The full moon will be in Leo at the end of this month. So Leo and Lion and Sun, and also connects to me with the Sphinx. But and the lion, you got the white lion of Africa. So yes, whatever. There's a loaded, isn't it, with what the lion and Lyran beings. So there's something I haven't. It's interesting because I haven't connected with the Lyran and lion for some considerable time. There's obviously something coming in now. And I recently had that experience of the moon coming in. Was it 3 nights ago? My God, the light. It was like a full moon, full on, and it was activating, doing things with my third eye and then pineal, and So something I feel connecting with. I've got this book up here with the sun and moon connecting, the divine union, which is why what we're connecting with the golden child.
Oh wow.
Try and get it so it's
Ah, interesting.
um, it's a it's an amazing book. It's a colouring in book, but I'm not going to colour. I'm not going to touch it. But that's just been that's always up there looking at me.
That's one that you're keeping, is it?
That is most definitely one that I'm keeping. That was a challenge to get. Last time I went into central London quite a few years ago, so I just don't go any. I just keep in my own little neighbourhood here, and I got a lovely couple of friends who are into science fiction, and they said they'd been into the Forbidden Planet quite recently. I used to go like I don't know 30 odd years ago because I lived around the corner when I was in the hostel around near to British Museum. But I can't cope with a lot of places now with upteen people, and it's really big. And I walked in there and I was kind of felt like I was in a zombie because I was getting like sensory overload. Um, because you've got like upteen books and upteen people. And I thought, why is it I'm walking in this? Because they love hanging out there. And I'm like, I used to hang out here. I can't anymore. So it's about me catching up with, okay, this is not working for me. But I thought there's something in this shop. So I persevered, and it was that book. And this Rory Dobner, he reminds us some of I don't know. It's a lot of reminding of the 70s for me in his artwork.
Now, it's interesting you talk about the geometries because that reminds me, I've not really fully processed this yet, but something happened yesterday, and I was tuning into some of the geometries of the heart. I was activating like a triple a triple diamond sequence in my heart. And by diamond, I mean octahedrons. And the octahedrons all seemed like some octahedrons, some diamonds might be longer than they are wide, for example, but these were the same. So they were as, they were as tall as they were wide, like a fluorite octahedron. All
Oh.
the sides were like the same. Um, and I was tuning in, and it felt like it was a new geometry that was just activating in me. And I was seeing that there were three in a line, and then I think one on each side. Yeah, so it would be like three in a line that way and three in the line that way, but the central one would be counted twice. And I ended up drawing. I haven't got it handy, but it was like it ended up being 9 of these octahedrons.
Wow.
And I was just kind of like playing with them because it was 3D as well. It wasn't just flat, so it was 9 like that, but they were coming out, and they were coming out at the back too. And I had a feeling that they all had spheres inside them as well, and that the spheres would exactly, because it was all equilateral, the spheres would exactly kind of like touch, I think, all the sides. It would be very balanced. Um, and my energy was going into the central one. And as I did that, it felt like I became, or I reached, the point of singularity within my own heart. And once I'd reached that point of singularity, which to me was like um, 0 point, when I'd reached that point, everything just kind of went.
Wow. Yes, I can. I just got that then when you said it. Yeah.
Everything boomed.
Yeah.
And I got this bright light starting at this point of singularity, starting at the 0 point that just went, yeah, like in
Wow.
all directions. And I could see this really clearly in my mind's eye. And then that light was kind of like everywhere in my mind's eye. And it felt like I'd birthed my golden child in my
Wow.
in my heart. Um, and it's interesting because although on one level I really get the concept of the golden child, in a way before that I'd kind of seen it more as our bodies morphing into something else rather than something else new being created. That was kind of, which is kind of true as well, but it is also that something else is created within us. Um, but I've kind of seen it more as a morphing, my body morphing into a new, more crystalline being rather than a more crystalline being birthed from me, if that makes sense. I saw it more as me morphing into that rather than something new kind of like being birthed. Um, but that had kind of dropped in, of like, that really dropped in a while ago, like the golden child actually being birthed inside of us rather than us just morphing into something else. I don't know if I can really quite
Mm.
frame that any different from that, because I can't really quite put that into words properly. Um, yeah, so I'm still kind of processing that, and I want to see if I can maybe like
Wow.
draw this geometry as well. Um, but it felt very significant, and like with the spheres held inside each of the octahedrons, that felt really significant too. But I don't really know why. But it was the central one. It was going into the center point of the central sphere that was inside the central octahedron. And when I got there, that's when it all kind of went boom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's
Wow.
all I have to share on
Well, that's powerful. That's profound.
that. And I feel that that is something that I was being shown, something to do with what we're doing on the 12th as well. I've
Yeah. Yeah.
it definitely feels like it's related. And the heart geometries I've been working on for a while, because I feel like we have more than one crystalline geometry kind of being created in there. But yeah, so just feeling more into that really
Wow.
before the 12th.
When you said that, I saw it before you just said it, and felt like the is it birthing of a star? The word nebula comes up. I don't know about astronomy, but that boom, the that's what I saw, and with that,
Or even like a universe, like it kind of felt,
yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
And it felt like I'd had my own solar flash
Mm.
inside, that it wasn't an external solar flash, but it was an
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
internal solar flash.
Wow. Amazing.
Had quite a big day yesterday.
Oh, that's powerful. Um, the alchemy image isn't the image that came to me, because the alchemical image is um, a green line devouring the green lion devouring the sun. Um, Whereas this was a golden lion, not this like merging. So and maybe there was alchemy, the mystical aspect of Christianity. I feel um, in that age with certain images, but who's to say that alchemy doesn't evolve itself? And but yes, I'm still with what you've shared. It's just really powerful. It's interesting because I've taken it off my website, but I had a line I put on the front page of um, I look within my heart, and there within was birthing the sun, stars, sun, and moon. And I've had that up for like, I don't know, months. And I actually took it down yesterday because I don't want too much clutter on my first page. And I'm like, I'm sure people have seen that enough now. So that's interesting what you've just reminded me, because I've had that up there. Um, what I'm sort of being with, breathing with now is, if we were in physically in a circle now, I'd not be saying anything, or I might go into a gesture. They'll be in circle with a fire. Be like when something's profound shared, like you've shared, then it's about honouring that, being with that, taking a breath, not filling the space up immediately, which I am doing now, um, um, but holding that, just being with that, because that's very much where I've been recently. Is so I'm going to take this huge leap, and I think my individual experience of the collective leap. So I'm expressing for the collective, and I'm expressing for me, and I'm exploring what we're all as humanity doing, taking this next evolutionary leap. So I do fit, and so I had my last menstrual bleed end of last year. And I'm moving house after being in London since I was like 18, and this flat isn't the first home it feels. Since '96 I've always moved around, so honouring who we are, where we've been, not being attached to that, being able to let that go, being in that space of the void, openness, stillness, because this is the now, isn't it? That we are. I feel there's a lot of focusing on how we're gonna, where we're going, and how we're gonna get there, and how we're gonna get through this, and well, we're here now. That doesn't exist. It kind of does quantumly, but but then my family of light saying we're actually co-creating everything new. It's different now, whereas when we were, many of us, in the 3D inverted matrix, everything was very linear and narrow and easier to predict, and so we're moving out of that. Therefore, that makes sense for me. Why many years ago, when I was opening myself up, at reopening more, I did psychic training to do reading. And I was not, because I thought, why am I doing this? Because I'm not interested in saying to people what's going to be happening for them tomorrow. I'm just not. I was surrounded by, I was like in the advanced group, not being able to, I got moved into the advanced group, not being able to, then when I got there, not being able to tell anybody anything about what was going to happen tomorrow. Now I was with people that could like remote view, be very specific with remote viewing, everything, and I just ended up feeling like I'm incompetent. I was like in the advanced group, not being able to do what I was able to do, and I got to there and I'm like, fuck, I can't do any of it now. There's a reason why I'm saying that. We get to a point where we think, why am I not performing? Why am I not doing what I'm used to, what I'm doing? And then I would then I'd go up, and then I felt I really want to go up. And then I'd come and talk about, I don't know, it was really quite like abstract light thing being, I'm like, and the people opposite me going, we don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. I said, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I know it's true. Can you not tell me about what's going to happen? I'm like, no. So now it makes sense. So that was quite a few years ago. I mean, talking quite a few years ago. Now I know what was going on. Anyway, I filled in the space there. But, partly because what the forum we're in, what we're doing. Yeah, it's profound what you shared. Wow, goodness.
Oh, and there was more. Um, Something kind of. Oh, I'm just trying to go back there. There was something that dropped down from that because it was like a big octahedron in my chest that was made of lots of little octahedrons, like I say, and it was 3 dimensional. And then something dropped down to my base chakra from the heart that I think was a sphere. And then something had to shoot up from my heart to my crown as well. So it kind of like this octahedron kind of fired energy and fired these things down and up. Um, yeah, I don't really know what that was, and I'd forgotten about it. It just dropped in. It just dropped in again then. But I was working with this golden octahedron that I was given when I went to the Mary Magdalene Chapel last week. I'm given gifts by the sisters, the sisters of the rose. And I was given a white rose to start with, and then the second gift was this golden octahedron from Isis that was put in my chest, and I feel that was what I was activating yesterday. And Merlin was also there, and I don't recall feeling him there before, but he gave me a gift as well, and he gave me a staff. Um, and I was guided to put the staff in at the crown, and then it went down. And then I did a strong light language activation, and it almost felt like, how you can see the central pillar of light? It almost felt like it was a new central pillar, almost. And although it was a wooden staff that he gave me, that it changed when I did the activation, it changed into light. And interestingly, too, there were 3 birds of prey that I saw on the way down. So I was driving down, and this bird of prey flew right over the car. It was coming in at an angle, and it flew right over, and it wasn't one that I knew. And then there were 2 kites, which have been reintroduced. Kites are doing really well around here. There were 2 kites over there, like bird kites, not kites. Anyway, I looked up the bird when I got home, and that bird was a merlin. There's a bird of prey called a merlin, and it was a merlin that flew over the car.
Oh, wow.
And then there he was.
Wow.
Oh, that's interesting. Helen Quayle has just said, yes, I've been getting that new centre. Yeah, that's really interesting. And it feels, I wonder, I just got the word organic. The fact that it was a wooden staff that then changed once it was inside my body.
Also, in tarot, the wand, the staff, is fire.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Which I always thought was quite interesting. Why that is, but you got cups of water, swords, air, wands, fire, and discs, which is earth. And that image, I always love the ace of. I mean, I did tarot for years, and I haven't for like 20 years, but it's embossed in my brain. So occasionally, one of them will jump out. But I love the Rider-Waite pack with the original, and so the ace wands, the ace of wands. It's just the hands that are holding, like the wand. I don't know about. I think I just got the hand holding the wand there. in my memory. Um, yes. So
Interesting. I'm feeling to go back to what you said earlier about the sun and the golden discs coming out of the sun. I feel there's. Do you think they were spheres or do you think they were flat discs?
they were flat. What I can do is actually I'll go to my blog and I'll read what I put there.
And just while you're getting that, I'll just say if anyone feels to share this, if this is resonating, if you're in any groups, if there's any groups you can share it to or your page, that would be awesome. Thank you.
Right, Golden Creation Solar Discs, the 11th of September. Today I was tuning into the golden vibrations, and as I aligned my conscious awareness to these beautiful rays, I was shown that they are golden solar discs. And I remember feeling them, and they were like, yeah, discs. They are creation resonances that are acting, if you like stepping stones. They come from the central sun, straight from source. They are filling our earth resonance, disc upon disc upon disc. They are the highest of resonances. So beautiful, so divine. They are coming in now to support all to align with the great grand cosmic coded plan, activating our divine golden codes, our own discs. It makes me think about the discs in our
Mm.
backbone. This goes to the core of all things beyond words. I first received an awareness of this transmission through an intense essence of honey. Here we go. Nectar of life. They are beings, as all life have soul resonance and divine beingness. For those who feel called upon in your heart and mind, receive this. They are, if you like, filling our atmospheres, so to assist in the movement of Gaia's children to the new earth resonance. They are charging our atmospheres with their divine resonance. They reflect back our divinity. So there's a reflection because they're discs.
Almost like a mirror. Yeah.
Yes. And so our third eyes are being fully activated, switched on, and in alignment with our pineal. So our pineal is like an all-being seeing eye, resonating with the crown, and all aligned with multiple golden pillars of light. Imagine, see, feel, visualize all these discs activating our hearts and aligning in beautiful sacred geometry to create one huge musical instrument of hundreds, thousands, millions, billions, trillions of chords sounding. Imagine, see, feel, visualize your heart as this golden disc of source, central sun, our solar star with Gaia, as she is also in her highest light resonance. Gaia, the golden galactic gateway. This is all part of the golden acceleration of ascension, unity of vision. That's what I wrote.
Interesting. So we have 33 vertebrae, 33 discs in our spine. And when you mentioned the pineal, it feels like its geometry is becoming more activated because it looks like a pine cone. That's why it's called the pineal, because it looks like a pine cone. So it's got that like spiral geometry.
Oh, wow.
And it feels like that is really coming online. Like it's been partially online.
Yeah.
But there's a lot that it's been like not tuning into, even if it was as activated as it could have been, that there's still been a lot of kind of frequencies of bandwidth that it's been that it's
Mm,
been missing. And I'd just written sacred geometry down to mention just before you said the words sacred geometry in what
mm.
you were reading there.
And I got that when I passed that, well, that guy with the book with the lines. That's because that's at the center of our brain. So that's all everything's connecting. I do feel I totally resonate that I feel like I know there's collective turning on the pineal. I mean, the more we open up, the more we realize when we have an individual experience, it's collective. There'll be others having that experience, and the more I feel as I journey on my journey, I'm tuning into that and asking for those notifications and awareness. It's not just I'm not, that's the separation perception of we're just having our own singular. Yeah, we are individuals, but within sacred geometry.
Mm.
Um, so when I got that, the light of the moon coming into the third eye and then directed into the pineal, all those distortions have been released from the moon last year. That was my experience. Um, so that we can mirror the divine, because like often the moon was seen as like a representation of our soul in the past, that we're and that the soul is the mirror of the divine. And so the distortion of the moon, I know we had a live, I think, where we talked about that a little while ago, um,
Mm.
has inhibited us from being the true reflection and seeing our reflection, seeing who we are. um, I keep also getting Venus. I don't know what's happening with Venus, but something's happening with Venus. Because when I was reading that bit that I wrote in September last year, I thought it said I read vision, but I saw Venus. It's written vision, but I wanted to say Venus. So there's something going on there. And also with Mercury, the planets are evolving. I mean, I know it's something I do share about. We have our astrology, which was, the planets named after a certain pantheon and Greek and Roman pantheon, and but they are beings. They're like Gaia, um, and I do feel that they're wanting to say, look, we're evolving,
Mm.
and depending on where you are individually and the collective, will have a relationship with how you perceive us. Um,
Yeah.
um, Things so these are really so much clearer. Um, I Last year, when we then had like the lockdown lifted, and I was feeling through that and feeling what's happening with the collective, and I just got, it's not been enough. People are just still doing the same thing. It's not been enough. And so now we've got another lockdown in Britain, and it's all everything is whatever's happening. And part of me is going, yeah, because it's needed, because for things to change, we can't keep doing the same thing. I mean,
Yeah.
and we can't, and it takes that push.
Mm.
So I feel there's so much space that's been lifted. It's challenging times for a lot of people. Like you say, that the person you shared who's took his own life, that just came into my awareness. Um, we need to clear a way in order to create space.
Mm.
And so your experience of that expansiveness within your heart, because you've been doing an awful. That's mm, programming sentence. That's you already knew what I was going to say there. Um, um, that's a brilliant amount
A great amount of work.
of work that you've been doing
A
in order to send.
fabulous, fantastic
Yes, exactly. um, God, the programming is just really subtle, or and obvious.
I might just take a second. This is dropping into do. Because you mentioned him, and I'm just wondering if his presence is with us. I might just take a second or two to just connect our energies actually while we're all together and send love to Andy Hannah's family and friends, and to Andy himself.
Yeah,
it feels like his transition is smooth,
yeah, that's what I'm getting. I got these. Yeah,
um, and that he was called back.
totally in light. That's what I'm feeling. I suddenly
Yeah,
got this whoosh of energy that went woo.
yeah.
It's like yeah, yeah, yeah. He's just been released from all whatever he needed to transition, and just yeah, I just got that feeling, and that energy came in. It was really
Mm,
lovely, joy. It's very. That's what I'm getting. He's really happy.
yeah, yeah, and it's really interesting because obviously I hadn't met Andy in person, but we did have at least one, face to face chat online. Um, but I felt his presence very, very strongly. He was always very supportive. He was used to share a lot, and he would be on a lot of calls as well. As many as he could be on. So energetically, I felt his presence really strong. But I feel his energetic presence so strongly now, like even more than I was feeling it before. And we did have a long connect yesterday, and it must be, for a lot of people who pass and their families are quite closed, you know, and they're not really able to communicate, it must be quite a different kettle of fish, um, for someone who has many contacts who are tuned in and who can kind of like see
Mm,
see spirits. It
mm.
must be like, that must be awesome to kind of be zapping here and there to everyone, and like, hello, I'm here. And
Wow.
quite a different experience from someone who doesn't know anyone, you know
Mm,
that must be quite incredible.
mm. They'll feel that yeah, there's that continued conscious connection.
Yeah.
That communication is flowing. That yeah, very powerful. Funny, I was thinking that the other day. Thinking that's and that's going to be then creating a whole new creation.
Mm.
There's not going to be that division. Um, and you know, we're being able to move journey much more. People are doing that, being astrally journeying, um, being able to lucid dreaming. The lines are dissolving.
Yeah, the veil is definitely thinner, isn't it, for
Yeah,
everybody?
yeah. So the expansiveness and the how that's going to evolve is again we're just we just experience a tiny bit of that because it's vast.
Mm.
Yeah, but that is very there's a lot happening. I went onto the heath and there'd been a beautiful ceremony where I took a photograph of it of the cleared under these sycamore trees, all the leaves, and they big massive circles revealing the earth smooth, quite smooth, just earth, and then they'd created um, like a cross, but kind of eye shaped at each um, point. Wasn't it was kind of with wood, and then this whole centerpiece with um, evergreen and roses. Um, it had amazing energy. Whatever they had been doing there, I'm aware that there's a Tai Chi group that just meet in that spot. I don't, but I'm getting it wasn't them. But it's been kept pristine. It looked very recent. It felt about a day old. Um, yeah, so it felt very, very beautiful. For me, what I'm feeling through with my heart is again allowing things to like drop in and then be and resonate, not try and fill in rationally, like I said at the beginning, what does this mean? Because if you allow something to flower, that's the flower of life, allow then bigger, more expansive creation happens. We get more knowledge. More than that, we get divine wisdom coming through. Um, we move out of that. Yes, that's Richard Rudd. I don't listen to him very often, but I listened to him about 3 days ago, and it was because I'm thinking what I was for weeks. I've been going, what's the difference between knowledge and wisdom? What's the difference between knowledge and wisdom? And then he had a video. He went, knowledge is from the mind, always wanting more, 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 more. Learn more. Got to get to have the answers. Knowledge, more knowledge is more, 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 more. Wisdom is within and is vast. I'm like, oh yeah, of course. um, yeah. There's something sort of relishing where we are, stopping with all that running around, all the searching, and allowing what is gonna unfold to unfold. There's no pushing, needing, no haste, rushing. And so I feel individually, for me, and I feel that's part of what we all do, but for me, that's what I'm exploring, crossing the thresholds physically through going into menopause and moving my home, going to a place where I don't know anybody, going from England to Wales. Wales I've visited more than any other place, so I'm not surprised I'm going there. But yeah.
And to Monmouth. So I've been exploring a lot about British history and the myths and the Arthur and Merlin legend. So Monmouth, for those that don't know, is where Geoffrey of Monmouth was from, and he was the first person to write about the myth of Merlin. Um, and there's strong links with Merlin in Wales, and there he was called Myrdin. Um, and that name, the beginning of that, like the Myrd, I don't know if apologies for my pronunciation there, but that means sea. Um,
Oh.
it's probably more Merd
Mm.
because he had, I think I said this when I was chatting to you before, he had to change that name because he was writing in Latin. And if he'd have just kept it the same, Merd in Latin and also in French means shit. So his name would have meant shitty if he hadn't changed it to Merlin,
Oh.
because that's what the Latin the Latin meaning would have meant, which is just quite funny. But he obviously kept it along the same lines with the mare, which is the Latin for the sea.
Yes, I didn't know about Monmouth. I didn't know about this person. I haven't read about. I did Google quite recently because you mentioned that, and then it came up with his book. But when like I said, when I got there, I'm like crying. It's the most powerful experience of feeling at home. Um, Tintern Abbey was like Arthur. That was, and I'm like, what's going on? Whole past life memory. I was crying. The last time I was crying like that was it 2016 with Laurie of Lemuria when I had a one-to-one. That's the last time I was kind of, oh my god. I'm like, wow. I've had all sorts of experiences, but nothing to feel like I've come home. And then I got an Ordnance Survey map of Monmouth, and north of Monmouth are King Arthur's caves. Just really, you can walk there. So I'm like, oh yeah. So and then of course all the dragon energy and yeah. So Merlin, yeah. There's it's to be in such land so beautiful. I'm sort of speechless, really. Um, so yes. Um,
And if you don't like it there, you can always go back to London.
yeah, that's not going to
I know.
happen. No, because I don't. I literally go from my house, the flat, to the heath, and then back. I don't do anything. I'm a hermit in London, so it's just got to a point now. It's like, you need to get out. But yeah, and I think I feel that I will move again, at least. So I'm going to be connecting with people. So that's not my last place I'm going to be. um, yes.
Interesting. All right. So just to go back to what we're doing on the 12th. So the 12th of January, 2 and 1 adds up to a 3. And we are, I was just adding up the whole date, which comes to a 9, which is 3 3s. So the golden child number to me is 3 because you've got
Yeah.
the polarity of the masculine feminine energies coming together to create that third energy. And it feels really potent. It's felt particularly potent at the end of last year too, when it first dropped in for us to be creating this event together. um, and we have a loose idea of what it's going to be. It's going to be partly celebration, but light language activation as well. And I feel for me as well, this geometry thing that I mentioned
Mm.
earlier, that's going to be relevant to it as well, in terms of part of what I'll be expressing. But it just feels like very celebratory too, doesn't it? It feels very, yeah, very party, very like, yay, let's kind of celebrate this that we're doing at the moment. Let's
Mm.
celebrate in song, like the song feels very potent to it as well.
And for me, it just felt very devotional,
Yeah,
which is the
that's the word. Yeah.
heart opening, which is why I was at one point was drawn to Sufism, because one of the main symbols of Sufism is the heart with wings. And I used to go to regular groups with Sikhs, and it was a lot of the movements and the chanting was all about the heart. I see love. I see the divine love in you. I see my heart in you. And then translating all in the Arabic, which is very simple. That's what it was all. I gaze in your eyes and I see the divine in you. I see my heart in you. It's all reflection, reflection. And so when I was tuning into what we're doing, it was like being able to and connect with what your experience, heart opening, that it is completely creation, celebration, and it is for me devotional is it's not being small, but it's being in awe, and then bringing that child aspect to be able to then play and be completely in the joy. And but I love what you said about celebrating where we are now, and I feel that it's so needed, because there's so much treasure, real treasure going on. I mean, wherever we are. So I saying, "Well, I'm ready to move," but I keep getting magical experiences all the time, and because we are where we are, and creation is within and mirrored out, and just looking down, there's a firework there. I just grab hold of Gemma before she starts freaking out. Hopefully that was just one. But to fully, like the crown is gold, the golden crown, and there's a reason why the royal family have all those friggin' things and wear gold, and but yes, I feel it's so primal, as in source divine devotion, to dive in, and yet I feel it's not a word that's used, we've been used to using in society, culture. You don't talk about devotional and devotion. It's not been mainstream. It's very mystical, the mystery. It's when I say that word, the resonance of that is, I feel like I just want to kind of go like that. It's giving up of myself to be completely in love, completely so I just got to completely immersed. But it's also, there's something similar, I think, devotion and devoted, being in service, but it's also joy. It's not like serious. It's it feels it has a hint of the word prayer there. But immediately I just essentially I got the tarot card. There's one, I think, I don't know what number it is. It's the cup one. I don't know whether it's the 10 of cups. There's a rainbow, and there's all these families and community are dancing underneath the rainbow. So I feel it's the key to so much. It's that heart opening when it's allowing ourselves to drink in. It's not having to effort, not having to be anything different. It's being able to see and go, how wondrous, how beautiful, and then be expressive with that in a non-inhibited way. Be naked and like the golden child. So because I don't use that's programming. I haven't it gets a bit difficult to speak sometimes. I will say it because I don't know how else to say it, but I don't use the word devotional very often. Speak. I don't speak. It's more than speak. It's resonate. Yeah. Feel, sound, be with. Yeah, isn't just that whole using? God, our language just is so much about programming. Anyway.
And just for clarity, we mentioned the word naked there. We're not actually doing the call naked. It's too cold.
Yes.
We're both sat here with like,
Yeah, I got gloves
couldn't be
on. And...
any closer to the radiator.
Yeah, so because we're birthing something new, and we haven't got it all blocked out, we will go where we go. But Denise and I have done many of these, not like loads, but we you know we got that we've been creating together previously for a few times, so we know how to trust and go. Um,
Yeah,
yes.
there's usually a framework, shall we say, and then the rest kind of gets filled in on the day. Um, yeah, I was thinking today I want to reshare the link. Actually, would you be able to put the link in the
Ticket tailor.
comments?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can do the ticket tailor because it'll go
and then
straight to that. Yeah.
yeah, and then I'll share that again as a post as well, and share that along a little. And it's £33. But as always, if this calls to your heart, there will be some spaces there. If you don't have the £33, if you get in touch with either Zahara or myself, there will be some spaces there. And for me, that's part of the new monetary system as well, that we kind of pass it forward in
Mm-hmm.
that way. It always feels important to be able to pass it forward like that. Is there any light language wanting to come through?
I haven't had, but we could do. Yeah, briefly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a little. Oh yeah, you've got to get ready, haven't you?
Yeah, yeah. Do you want to do some, Sherry?
Yeah. Kia hron oi est aran ai lakana kokola mere in east o hon dal me kal morod on ai lekiana mokolekiast ot oi mai ya el eranakod ohla ehranakit ea el hian de hanan ot oi bal ekadot on ai akadon ul ekist ai elekia tototon malan et on mala kore hol akea ronokuton no kupai el ikiantara ikist ba ala hol eki na sta it ea ora ikita an okusta.
Yes, you know one. Mok e na otui siki numukukui. Yes, you know. Mo I ad ea mo ko I mo yo
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you everybody who has watched us, who's been with us on the live. Um, yeah, please share if it resonates, and hopefully we will see you next week. next Tuesday on the 12th, and it's between 6 and 8 p.m. GMT. Thank you, my love. It's
Thank
been a
you.
pleasure.
Yes, it has. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. We will see you soon. Bye. Love, love, love.